Hi, I'm Casey with the Technology Department, and I'm going to show you how to put your computers back together today.
Now that you have everything laid out on your desk, you want to make sure that you take note of the location of all the ports on your walls for network, power, video, USB, and such as that. We have our desk generally configured to where the computer and phone are nearest to the ports, as sometimes those cables can be a little bit too short. We're going to shift over to have Casey help us out with hooking it up. We're going to start with the keyboard going into the top middle USB port. If you notice, it has a little picture of a keyboard. It's very important that this one actually go into the keyboard USB. Right below that, we're going to plug in the mouse. And then we're going to connect the VGA cable from the monitor to the computer. I like to connect all of them that are not going to the wall first, just to kind of help keep them out of the way and keep everything organized. Next, we're going to plug the power into the monitor. You may notice that on some monitors there's more than one video input. Just match up the shape and size for the correct one. Most of them in the district are this blue VGA, and then over on this other side we have the power input. We have just a couple more cables to do. We're going to plug in the computer power, which will go into this bottom yellow port here. After that, we have our HDMI cable that is going to have an HDMI to DisplayPort adapter. And that goes right above the cable, or the power. And last for the computer, we have the network cable. These are typically blue, but can also be black. And that'll go into the one that looks like a very large phone jack. We also have the USB cable that will go from your computer to the wall. And that'll go into the top USB port. And that's all the cables for the computer. We'll switch those over to be plugged into the wall here in just a minute. Next, we're going to do the document camera. For the document camera, you usually have either a VGA or an HDMI that you're hooking up. This particular one is VGA. If you look at it, there's a VGA in or RGB and a VGA out. You want to go into the output. Some of them, if you're not using a VGA, also have HDMI. Same thing, you have an HDMI in and HDMI out. You want to go to the HDMI out. So this one's VGA, so Casey's going to get that one hooked up for us into the output. And then next we'll do the document document camera power, which is going to go right here into this little one that is marked DC 12 volts. Different document cameras have slightly different power supplies and possibly different voltages, so don't worry about that too much if yours is a little bit different. The last thing we have is your phone. On the back of your phone, there's a few different ports. One of them says PC. That's not the one that you want. The one that you want is this one right here that has, it looks like two little computers next to each other right above your handset that's plugged in. You want to feed it through that little hole and then into the network port. Now that you have all of your cables plugged in, you want to kind of organize them across the back of your desk. So we're going to take all of our cables and string them towards the ports that you're going to be plugging into. You're going to pay attention to make sure that you don't put too much stress on any cables so as not to bend any ports or anything like that. So they need to look nice but not be overly tight. Pay special attention to the HDMI cable with this long adapter because it's kind of known for bending a little bit. Now that you have all your cables over here, you can begin to plug them into the walls. You have your network cables going to the blue ports. That'll be the one from your phone and the one from your computer, which are typically blue and black. Your HDMI cable, your USB cable, and then the VGA cable from your document camera. Last but not least, we have the power from your computer and from your document camera, which will plug into your standard 110 outlet. And that should be it. At this point, you should notice that you now have a power light to your document camera. Your phone is now booted up, and you now have power to your computer and your monitor.